Hi guys, thanks for stopping by my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to find foreclosures in your city. I think, although I'm not exactly sure, but I think that every major city probably has a website for city foreclosures. So I live in Milwaukee and we definitely do have a city foreclosure website. So basically the thing to find foreclosures in your city is just go to Google. Okay, you can type in, I live in Milwaukee, so I'm going to type in Milwaukee city foreclosures. All right, so here we have city houses for sale, cityofmilwaukee.gov. Click on that, and it brings you to the Department of City Development website. We have the current listings exclusively for owner occupants, and we have extended listing for investors or owner occupants. And then we have broker listings. And then this is a different type of program. I'm not really too sure about that one. So these are the ones that they currently have up. So these ones are exclusively, like it says, for owner occupants. You can only buy these properties if you plan to live in them. So here in Milwaukee, I think you have to live in the property for 2 years, and then you're able for it to become a rental property. So I've never seen this. So it says no current listings at this time. I've actually never seen that there before. They always have listings, so that's weird. I wonder if they just kind of all put them over here to the extended listing. So I guess we're going to click on that and find out. But the extended listings, basically, you can buy those properties for rental income, for as an investor, or owner occupant, just like it says. So the requirements are different for the extended listings. Usually the listings that are over here, they have them up. These are like the newer listings that they just put up. And after, I think it's like 60 or 90 days, they throw them over here to this side so that anybody can bid on them. But they want to give, people in the city a chance if they plan on being owners, owner occupants of the property. They want to give them a chance to get a good deal on a property. And some of these properties, I mean, they're $2,500, $5,000, and that's just the list price. So if I click on this, you'll see. So these are just like the conditions for the properties. Tells you a little bit like an overview of it and all that. So here's some properties. So obviously a lot of these properties are not in great areas. However, if you're wanting to get into real estate, you're wanting to get into investment properties, these are perfect. So the price over here, this is the list price. So you basically submit a proposal to the city with your bid, and then if they choose you, you get the property. However, before, there's so much work that goes into even petitioning for a property. You have to submit proof of funds and everything. All of your funding has to be in place, or you have to be a cash buyer before you can even submit an offer to buy a city property. Most of these are not in great parts of the city. These are all north side of Milwaukee, which Milwaukee is one of the most segregated cities in the entire United States. And the north side of Milwaukee is known to have very high crime rates. So a lot of these properties here are very cheap, right? Let's see, 25, 25, 25. Yeah, so it looks like 2,500 is the lowest price I'm seeing on one of these. And for a duplex, it's a steal, right? You think it's a steal. Let's see, it has a little red dot next to it. What does that mean? Eligible for community-based organization, $1,000 sale. Yeah, so they do that. So if you want to buy this property for, let's say you want to buy this property and you want to convert it into, a rooming house for homeless women or a battered women's shelter, something like that. So if it's community based, they'll sell this property to you for $1,000. It gives these organizations an incentive to want to buy these properties. So right? We think like, oh, the $2,500, that's such a steal for a duplex, right? So here it tells you how many bedrooms it has. Um, so let's see. Let's just, for example, click on this one. So this is a $2,500 property. Has that little red dot, so that means it's a community-based organization that's eligible for that. It is 4-bedroom, 2-bath duplex. So over here, this is the address. This is the scope of work. So you click on this, and this brings up a new document. Basically, it tells you that everything that is wrong with this house. The city sent in an appraiser, and they filled out a very long list of things that this property needs, major work that it needs, essential repairs that it needs. So here at the top, they always put the essential repair cost. So essential repairs are things that need to be done in order for this house to be livable. So in order to have somebody move into this property, it needs, in their opinion, $52,000 worth of work. Now, this is just an appraiser going in and assuming that you're just going to hire a contractor to come in, and that contractor is going to overcharge you for every single thing that you have to put into this house. However, if you look right here, even at the top, so if you're a little bit handy with, anything, which a lot of people who get into real estate, they want to be handy. It's a very good skill to have because you can do a lot of the work yourself. According to them, to fix the handrail on the steps is going to cost $150, which is insane. All right, so here we go. One, just bottom of the barrel, cheap hand railing, 79 inches long, $86. That's less than half the price of what they quoted you on the scope of work. So scope of work for hand railing, they're saying it's going to cost you $150. Now, it might cost you $150 after, if you hire a contractor, they have to purchase this hand railing, and then install it. The rest of the money is for installing. If you just go to Home Depot and you purchase that hand railing, it's going to cost you $66 because you're going to take a couple of screws, you're going to screw that into the wall, and then your work is done. So, yeah, it's going to cost you $66, not $150. And that's just one example out of all the essential repair items that they have on this list. So this $52,000, that's how much money they're going to make you, they're going to make sure that you have in your bank, right? So they're going to make sure that you have at least $52,000, or that you can show them that you'll have the funding for that $52,000 in order to be able to complete the essential repairs of this. Now, that's not what it's going to actually cost you. It's going to cost you probably somewhere to a third or a half of that cost, because a lot of stuff you can do yourself. So if we go down the list here, I'll kind of pull out a few other things. Obviously, things that need permits. If you're not a licensed contractor, you can't pull permits from the city in Milwaukee, so you would need to hire somebody to pull anything that needs permits. But here we go again. Another hand railing. You can just install it yourself. Chimney, you would have to look into that. I'm not sure. Well, I think here it would say if you need a permit for it, and this doesn't need a permit. So, I mean, if you know how to repair a chimney, you could get that cost down to at least a third or a half of repairing, and it depends on what the chimney needs. Does it need to be taken down? Does it just need to be repaired? Does it need a few bricks in place? Do you need to remortar it? Here we go, another thing, roof tear-offs. So roof tear-offs in Milwaukee, you don't need a permit to redo a roof. You don't have to pull a permit to redo that. So $9,000 in Milwaukee, that's a high quote. I know a few people who do roofs, and they do it, and I guess it also depends on the size of the roof too, but if you just get one of these smaller local companies, they'll come in and do a roof for you, $3,500. Smack it on. It's just a rental property, so I mean, it doesn't need to be top of the line. It just needs to last. So $3,500 will slap one on. That's like, half the cost, less than half the cost. Gutters and downspouts, if you need to clean them, and this isn't very specific, but like this could be one of two things, right? So you can need to replace all the gutters and downspouts on the entire house, which I feel like if you did that, it'd probably be more than $1,200, but who knows? Maybe just a few need replacing. Maybe they just need to be cleaned out. Maybe they're clogged up. But if you can save things and repair them, it's so much cheaper to repair than to replace a lot of things. And a lot of things I find that you can repair yourselves. Like, I just bought a duplex myself in January of 2020, and slowly I've been repairing items at my house myself, because, it's a rental property and I got a really good deal on it, and I don't want to pump a lot of money into a house that I'm just going to be using as a rental property. So I've been fixing things up myself, things that don't need permits, obviously, pulled, but some, like, one of the examples of the things that I couldn't do myself was I had a big tree in the backyard by my parking slab that needed to be taken down. I couldn't take that down myself. It was a ginormous tree. And so I had to find the best quote I could to take that tree down. My budget was in between $600 and $800 to take that tree down. However, that's not a really big budget. So it was really hard for me to find somebody to take that large tree down. And I'll post up a picture of that tree. I have a few pictures. I'll post them in here. That tree down, and it cost me $800, which killed me. Like, that $800 killed me, but I knew it was a good deal because all the other quotes I got were, $1,000. Somebody quoted me $1,000, and they said, I can take the tree down for $1,000, but I can't take the wood with me. You'll have to keep the wood. And what am I going to do with wood sitting around my backyard? I don't have a fire pit or anything like that in the back. So that didn't make any sense for me to do. So I found this guy, and it was just on a whim. He actually just had a cancellation for that day. And he's like, I can come, but I have to come today. I have to come in the next hour. And it was like 7 a.m. He's like, I had a cancellation today, so I could do it for you for $800, and I'll take the wood. So, and I was like, all right, yeah. So I went to the bank, pulled out $800, and he took the tree down, and I paid him. It went so perfectly for me. He took the wood and everything. But sometimes you kind of just got to wait it out. Hope that you're going to find a better price. So, all right, let's go back to this list here. Going down the list. So this says prime main doors. Assume it means to paint, maybe sand down, fix up some doors. And that is something you can do yourself. For $1,400, you can go to Home Depot. You can, even if you have to take every door in the house off of the hinges to do this, take them all down, take them all into the basement, sand them down, stain them whatever color you want, seal them up. You can get some wood filler if you've got big gaps or holes in them. If they're broken or anything like that, you can get some wood glue and some epoxy. I had a broken door in my house. The handle part broke off all the way down the door. I'll post another picture in there. Here's a picture of the broken door, and I had to take epoxy and put it in the crack there, and then first I used some wood glue, tapped it together, and then I poured epoxy into the crack, and it bonded the door together. And the wood glue cost me like $4. The epoxy cost me about $5. So $9, and I was able to fix a door instead of replacing it, which, guys, if you've ever looked at Home Depot for doors, you can find some cheap hollow doors, for $150 for one door. And imagine, if you have to replace all of the doors in a house, that could get costly. It will add up. So for $10, I fixed this door, and it works perfect. It works just like new. And any tenant that I have in here is not going to notice that I wood glued it and epoxied it together, and they're not going to care. As long as it's a functional door, the tenants are not going to care. All right, so prime main windows, same thing. $2,400? No, no, no. 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 This is not ever, don't ever pay this. Do not ever pay $2,500 to anybody to paint and prime doors or windows. You can do that yourself. Again, like I just explained, you can go to Home Depot, get some prime, get a sander. For $2,500, you can get a lot of really nice, good equipment to do it yourself. And you just jump on YouTube, and honestly, if you don't know how to do something, just jump on YouTube and It will literally show you how to do everything. I learned how to replace the gas line in my kitchen by watching YouTube. I did that myself. All right, so yeah, like things like this, foundational repairs. This I feel like is probably about what it might cost to have some foundational repairs. But remember, guys, if you're getting quotes from contractors, you always, always, always have to get multiple quotes because one contractor will come in and say, "I can do this for $5,500," you know, but he might be pulling your leg. He might just think he can come in and charge you whatever he wants because you haven't gotten any other quotes. So my ultimate advice is always make sure you're getting multiple quotes. So, I mean, that's just a few examples. If you go down the list here, you see that there's so many other essential repairs, and a lot of things they'll say self-help, which means the city thought that you could probably do that yourself. Um, which you can, a lot of this you can do yourself, but a lot of the things that they say you need a contractor for, you can do yourself as well. Especially if all you're worried about is, the bottom line and saving money. That is the most efficient way to save money. The only time you should ever consult a contractor is if it's something that you don't feel comfortable with, like if it's gas related or heating related, and you just don't feel comfortable doing it because it may be too dangerous. You could end up with some type of gas leak or something like that, or like the foundation repair, stuff like that, where it's, really, really important for the safety of the home to have a professional look at it. Then I highly suggest you get a professional. But other little things, you shouldn't need a professional. You should be able to kind of just watch a video and do it yourself. So yeah, like I said, this is just for Milwaukee. I'm sure they have other cities that have these websites like this. If you made it this far in the video, I really wanted to thank you and I appreciate your support. If you could subscribe and like this video, leave me some comments about maybe how I can do things better or topics that you want to hear about. I'm really open to what everybody wants to hear, and I will catch you guys next time. Thanks.